podcast brought to you by Benben.
This podcast is brought to you by Neutrogena, pink grapefruit body clear body wash. Now with cocamapropyl betaine and polycordium number 7. If you loved polycordium number 6, you're going to love polycordium number 7. Doesn't that sound like something Aaron Brockovich would bring a class action lawsuit against Neutrogena for? Polycordium number 7? This stuff can't be good for you. It may not be hexavalent chromium, which causes nosebleeds and brain tumors, but maybe it's just as bad and we don't know about it yet. Like maybe acetaminophen, Tylenol, might be cancerous, but we haven't figured it out yet. How can you call something pink grapefruit body wash, Blair, and at the bottom of the ingredients it says coloring, Red Lake 40, Red Lake 30, and violet number 2? If it's grapefruit, you don't need the coloring. It's crazy.
Yeah, but they add artificial coloring to a lot of products to make them seem more appealing.
You know they add carbon monoxide to meat at grocery stores so that it stays pink? Carbon monoxide, Kels.
Yeah, I've heard of.
People have detectors in their house for that shit. They put it in your meat. You know what color of meat's supposed to look like? You know what it looks like in they don't allow that in England. You know what it looks like? Gray and brown.
Yeah.
It's not appealing. Bacon. You see it at some places that have all natural bacon, even at the grocery stores here. It looks kind of ugly. Mm-hmm. It looks kind of like beef jerky. I don't like this shit, man. It's scary how many things are like antithyroidal or antithyroidic. Hurt your endocrine system, cause cancer way down the line, but affect heart disease, build up amyloid plaque, even though you may not get dementia or Alzheimer's. There's a class action lawsuit going on right now against, is it LaCroix? Is that how you say it? Uh-huh. Sparkling water. The lawsuit suggests it contains ingredients found in insecticides and cancer treatments, including chemotherapy. What the fuck? I have friends that recommend it. Like, that is the... Oh, dude, have you tried LaCroix? Have you tried it? Dude, like, you drink soda? LaCroix, man. First of all, LaCroix sucks. I've tried it. It tastes like... It's like someone decided to take a piece of fruit, cut off, like, the rind, whatever rind fruit it is, dump it in some water that's sparkling, or regular water, throw some Perrier in there. That's how it tastes like to me. It's very bland. I don't like it. I think it's overrated.
Yeah, I don't really like LaCroix.
I don't think that's a cool thing. I don't think it's cool when you lie to people that intentionally go to Whole Foods to buy expensive shit.
Yeah, it's...
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
You can't do that to people who literally spend more money.
Yeah, they're spending more money.
Thinking it's better, and it's worse. It has insecticides and shit in it.
Well, it doesn't have insecticide in it. It's just an ingredient that is also found in insecticide, among other things as well.
Yeah, that's not good, though. That doesn't really sell if they had that on the front of the can.
Well, no, but the ingredient itself is not harmful, and it's used as a flavoring and other things.
What about the cancer treatment stuff? The stuff found in radiation therapy. I don't like that.
I forget which ingredient that was, but again, it's not harmful.
Well, Whole Foods still does the stuff with the carbon monoxide in the meats, that's for damn sure. And they also say organic on a lot of shit there that's not organic. And the FDA has really strange labels. Organic doesn't really mean organic. Free-range chickens literally can still be at a place where they cut off the beak of the fucking chicken. So they do. So they don't peck each other. That's fucked up. They're free-range, but they're deformed on purpose so that you can stack more of them together. I don't like that. Yeah,
the labels can be really misleading and confusing.
What did you think of the Khabib McGregor fight the other night?
It's a good fight. It was exciting to watch.
How is that the WWE and the WWF still have a thing going when you have real wrestling in MMA.
They're still going?
That shit still goes, man.
Really?
People are obsessed with it. It's like going to the ballet. But the ballet is like with guns, and like you could just go watch a war and it's real. It's like weird. It's like,
but it's not. But the WWE and WWF is not. But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
UFC
what if
real.
ballet involved violence, and so you go to the ballet to like see simulated violence, but you could see real violence anywhere on YouTube, on like the dark web with people's heads being cut off from like the Mexican mafia and stuff like that. Or you could just watch like, I don't know, Antifa clips of them beating up white people's cars saying that they must be racist. There's violence everywhere. It's like, why would you watch a sport that is, they actually have a script and they're actors and they don't even hit each other? Some of the stuff they do is interesting. Like they'll cut their upper forehead so that when they're fighting and they get hit there, it'll bleed a lot. They use razor blades for that. That shows dedication, but it's all fake. The chairs that they break are pre-broke. Like they basically have the thing where they're supposed to break.
Made to break.
Yeah, it's like preferring the Harlem Globetrotters over a Los Angeles Lakers game.
Yeah, but there's been at least one like tragic accident in pro wrestling where one
Hart.
of the
Hart fell and then he died.
Yeah, he died and like on live television.
On the cage. He went to the top of the cage and he fell, yeah.
Yeah, on one of the pay-per-view fights, just there was something wrong with
not including all the Oxycontin stuff, the deaths from drugs from these fighters. They're taking a lot of like painkillers. This is not,
and a lot of them are on steroids.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're taking painkillers because they're doing things that are abnormal to their body, and they're putting themselves under. Like it's, I respect it for the sense that it takes a lot of work. I told you about the razor blades, but like you have to get jacked, you have to stay jacked. You're traveling all the time. It doesn't pay. Not everyone's The Rock or whatever, Bret Hart or the Giant or Rishi or I'm just coming up with names of people I've known that have wrestled. The Undertaker. You know, it takes a lot to build that up and to be that person. Ronda Rousey. This is what I don't understand about the sport, even though I respect it. I respect the sport, but I don't understand why it's famous.
Which sport are you talking about now? Are you talking about MMA or are you talking about
like,
professional wrestling? Because they're totally different.
I respect the sport. I respect both of them for different reasons.
Although, I believe Brock Lesnar was a professional wrestler before he became an MMA fighter, which is kind of interesting.
He's not a very good MMA fighter.
Brock Lesnar?
He's kind of... He lost to a lot of people that... Well, that's the thing. The reason why MMA is such a difficult sport, it's so easy for someone that isn't the favorite to beat you. So, for example, if a guy my size, 6'6", 225, 230, was fighting another guy who's 6'6", 225, 230, or sorry, if I was fighting my twin, and
isn't that like a Mortal Kombat?
No,
thing?
wait, just hear me out though. If I was fighting my twin, I was Sub-Zero, my twin's Scorpion. I don't know if they're twins, but they seem to be similar. They have similar like costumes and spandex on. So if I were fighting him, and we were equally skilled, it would probably break down to somewhere close to the normal distribution, the mean, 50-50. Probably 6-4, probably favoring one of us, just by chance. If one of us is better, and you're putting money on that person in terms of like the actual league is marketing him and investing in Sprite commercials and putting his face on urinal cakes and
Do they do that?
No, but like park bench, you wouldn't know that you're a girl. Why would you? Know? Like no way, advertising where we just piss on guys' faces. You wouldn't know. But no, they spend all this money, and then as soon as that guy loses, his market value goes down a lot. That's why they pushed the McGregor fight out for like a long time since his last win, because they want to milk it. He makes money even though he's not fighting. Mm-hmm. So when I see Ronda Rousey get her ass kicked by Holly Holmes and Amanda Nunes, and then she goes to the WWE, I'm like, how can you believe she's beating up people in the WWE? The last 2 fights she got knocked
seen
out.
her beaten up, like, for real.
That's not a good hire. That's like, that shows you how like diluted the sport is, and there might even be like the sexualization, especially for women, or the macho-ness of the man. He might lose all the time, but he's so cut and big, people like it anyway. It's like a different sport. It's not about winning, or it's not about. It's like more about, ooh, I just want to. The suspension of disbelief. And
they have these weird storylines.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
like, their characters, and they have, like,
love to be a writer for the
relationships,
WWE, huh? It's absurd.
It's so weird.
Like, you killed my grandfather, and now I've come back to reclaim the throne for my family's heritage. You'll never get it. I will. You'll never get it. No, it's my belt. It's like your grandfather is fighting in the WWE or something. It's just, this stuff's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You know, there was an allegation talking about the Harlem Globetrotters of rape by sexual assault, but one of the cheerleaders accused them. My friend told me that after I told him that joke about the WWE. I asked him if he thought that was funny before I mentioned it on here. He said, "Yeah, but guess what? The Harlem Globetrotters are under a lot of suspicion of taking advantage of the cheerleaders." And so I wanted to ask you, Blair, should you only be allowed to talk about rape if you've been raped? Like, you know how like people say you can't talk about that, you're not black? Okay. When people say, oh, you can't talk about X, you're not a woman? Okay, but let's get really specific. Rape doesn't necessarily mean a woman. So I don't think you should be allowed to talk about rape, just following the logic, unless you've been raped. Or you've raped. Because you also know a lot about it if you've raped. So I think that rapists and rapees, it's like frappe, should be allowed to, talk about it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I guess everybody is allowed to talk about whatever they want to, but I think that you can really only speak to the experience with any credibility if you yourself have been a party to rape in some way, if you've been a victim or a perpetrator.
Do you find it at all interesting that woman, Dr. Blaisley Ford, is basically, she's gone now? She doesn't want to deal with the situation anymore. Now that Brett Kavanaugh he's been officially, he's on the Supreme Court. He's been confirmed. It's kind of weird how it's all about rape and getting to the truth, and then right when that doesn't work. It didn't stop him from becoming. Mm-hmm. Not saying that's the reason. Maybe he's getting to the truth, but the truth doesn't seem to matter anymore. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, I'm guessing that
it seems like once he was confirmed, the truth was irrelevant. That's weird. It should be about the truth still.
Yeah, it should, because now it seems like it was all about stopping his success.
Yeah. I want to play, if I can, for a second, this one little bit from Nancy Pelosi. It's a politics thing I think is played out, especially in podcasts, but I do want to see if you can pick this up from my phone here. I'm going to turn it up. It's Nancy Pelosi explaining exactly what politicians do when trying to stop someone from gaining power. It's like she basically gave the playbook. This is years ago, but here.
Demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise them, and then you write it, and they'll say, "See, it's reported in the press that this, and this." So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now we're going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made, and it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.
Dude, that's fucked up, man. That I understand showing deference to objectivity, but when you hear someone talk like that, and then after the guy's confirmed, the woman that alleged it wants to move on, they're not using her for anything. They're not using her for. Well, I would be surprised if she pops up again during the midterms to talk about rape and stuff at some event. But it's possible she doesn't want to do that. She got paid a lot of money. There's at least $300,000 in GoFundMe that she received for her fees.
For what?
Well, it's weird. It's for her fees, but her lawyers were pro bono. They did it for free. And then apparently someone else paid for her security. So where that money, it's kind of an interesting way of getting money without anyone knowing where it came from. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that you can easily track where the GoFundMe money came from.
Well, if you're the FBI, but it's nothing illegal about it. It's basically for public knowledge. That type of stuff is not. It's GoFundMe is basically a free for all. There's so much fraud in GoFundMe that. But like, if you want to give someone money without formally declaring it, it's not a bad thing to do. It's also unbelievable for someone to get like over She got over $170,000 in a few days.
Yeah, that's
incredible. There are people on there that are waiting for like liver transplants. They're asking for 25. Listen, I'm just saying.
It's all about, I guess, publicity.
Yeah, it's publicity, and it's weird. And certain people, that's nothing to them. I wouldn't be surprised if a select individual paid most of that.
Yeah, that's very true.
But again, I don't want to get on that. But I don't like again, I've said this before my last podcast. Politics is played out on podcasts. The reason it's played out is because it's become a merchandise item, just like Nancy Pelosi referred to in terms of rape allegations, where people have both sides of the issue and they use it to sell their podcast. The problem is that it becomes editorialized and polarized and not true. It becomes a little exaggerated for one side or the other, and people don't realize how biased they are. The reason Tucker Carlson has a show is the reason why Rachel Maddow has a show, and vice versa. So I don't love it because it's basically helped the media overcome the fragmentation of the news with YouTube, Instagram, and all these. It's clickbait. It's like, as I said, black baby shot 5 times in the face by white cop. People click on that. They do not care about objective, indicative news, like over budget for Planned Parenthood. No, it's like Planned Parenthood is selling dead baby body parts. That's it's just too much. It's too much. It's true, girls. Actually,
what?
Yeah, they sell body parts of a fetus, but that's just. It's click. I don't want to just talk about it. Just get into it. It's just so. It's so like. So much angst. Like what? It's true. But on the same subject of sex, and we're what do you call this? Pivoting. We're pivoting a little bit. Pivoting. Houston, the city of Houston in Texas, voted to ban their city congress voted to ban sex robot brothel, citing plans to make it illegal to have sex with robots at places of business, even if that's the business of the place to fuck robots.
Yeah,
ban it.
I guess that's not a legal business.
Are you saying that I can't sell robot pussy at my place? That's the business.
I guess you just like rent the robot out by the hour, or
well, you have no overhead. Yeah, you rent out a room with a robot, and you have robots on probably rotation, ones that are available, ones being used. God, can you imagine cleaning those things?
Ew.
It's disgusting, man. It's not the same organic process as live tissue. It's like someone's jacking off into plastic, and they clean it with like a hose, and then you use it. It's like using someone else's fleshlight.
Sanitize it.
It's like, It's like fleshlights were like $100 million or something, and they were not like available to the home for the home purchase. Like you had to go to a special place to like rent it fractionally by the hour because it's so expensive. It's like I would never do that. If fleshlights were really that good, like they were unbelievably realistic, but you had to go to like a sex shop and use it, but other people used it too. What are you, nuts? Unless they had something like the cones when you're at the doctor's office, the cones they put off the otoscopes, they stick in your ear. They tickle, by the way. Oh, I love how they make you tickle. That's kind of an aphrodisiac when they stick it in your ear and it tickles.
I know how much you love those.
Oh my god, it's like ASMR stuff. It's like, ooh, it's ticklish. Yeah, that is That's possible, but some throwaway lining. But ooh, what if you like you want to lick the titty? Other people lick that titty, and then how many have some like tastes like antiseptic?
Yeah,
Ugh.
weird.
But I think they're wrong. I think
what's wrong?
I don't think they should ban that. I think it's ridiculous. I think they could say, citing the license, the adult entertainment licenses that they have. Like they might have five strip clubs in Houston. Probably have more, but to say that they do, they might say this is skipping the adult entertainment license through some sort of like ruse, some sort of like slick little thing. We won't allow it. That I can understand, but not objectively saying robot sex is illegal. No, we've already given out our licenses for strip clubs. This is basically the same thing. We're not going to allow it. That would make sense. Not, oh, no, robot sex is wrong, and you can't do that at a business. It's like, what? What are you talking about? It's not an argument.
I don't know. I have to agree with them that robot sex should not be allowed in places of business.
That's the business, though. It's not like you're at Guess Jeans trying shit on and you fuck one of the mannequins. That's not what it is.
That's what I imagine.
Oh my god.
Hey, give me my Sprite back.
Sorry, I have this cold, so I have to have something.
Yeah, that's my Sprite
I know.
that you're drinking.
I know, I shouldn't do that because I have a cold. I know, I'm sorry. Oh my god. Who has the best mannequins, by the way?
I know you think it's American Apparel.
American Apparel. Oh my god.
Even disgusting list.
And that guy was accused of sexual assault. The head of American Apparel.
He was?
Oh yeah, he bad stuff. Yeah, he almost tried to lose his company or take his company away from him because of it. Sounds like a lot of people use this stuff to, for their own advantage. Like Elaine Wynn, Steve Wynn's ex-wife, definitely used that to gain controlling share, try to get controlling share of Wynn casinos and resorts. Unbelievable. What was that thing I was talking about? We were talking about the sex robots. I mentioned something. Oh, yeah. I wanted to say I do this thing at night. I pass by this Christian reading room every time I take a long walk, and it's usually...
Isn't it the Christian Science
Yeah,
reading
Christian
room?
Science. I read it written down. I just read I just said it. Yeah, Christian Science reading room. And I walk by without fail every night, seeing this bald guy with glasses by himself reading his Bible. And I'm like, that's interesting. But there's no one else in there. There's no like coffee shit going on with a bunch of people reading and like listening to smooth jazz or something. It's just this guy. But every time I walk by, he stops reading, puts down his Bible, and looks at me in the face. And it creeps the shit out of me. Because I'm like, how the fuck do you know that I'm walking by? Like, it's weird. Like, he stares at me. And sometimes he'll even wave. I'm like,
it's weird.
Dude, you're just trying to get more people in this thing. It's creepy, man. It's kind of an odd hour. It's like 10 o'clock at night when I go on these walks.
I can't believe they're open that late. That's crazy. I'm
not religious. I'm an atheist. But I totally respect people if they like religion. It makes them feel good about their life. And
like religion.
No, I mean, I'm happy for people. That helps them get, do good and be good. Like, eudaimonism, the idea of like, doing good works will make you feel happy. And that's fine. But this guy looks creepy. You
don't have to be religious to feel good from doing good
No,
works.
But a lot of people take joy out of it. So I just feel like they cannot separate the idea of doing good and doing good in others and receiving good karma. They can't separate that from religion. They see that as one and the same.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but that's only religious people that they can't make that distinction.
I had a daydream where I was passing by once at night, and Motley Crue was playing from the Christian Science reading room on a loudspeaker system, like a boombox, and he's throwing back tequila shots while doing some lines off his bodybuilder's giant erect penis, along with a paper shredder
Who's
going full black. The bald guy had his gay boyfriend there. And
he's a bodybuilder?
With a giant erect penis with lines of coke on it. And the paper shredder is going full blast as he feeds Paul's letter to the Corinthians into it, screaming, "Lies, lies." I think that was kind of fun.
Very elaborate.
I thought of it after seeing that Mandy movie with... it inspired me. Really intense, yeah.
That's odd.
Oh, Talk about the cruise line. I'm talking about the cruise line.
Okay, wait, hold on.
All right, you all right?
I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay, I'll pause. All right, and we're back. So I realized while we were taking that break that we didn't talk about the Khabib fight, actually, that Conor lost through by choke, tapping out, TKO, I guess that is. Is it TKO? I guess it's TKO when you tap out. And then Khabib jumped into the stands and attacked one of Conor's trainers. Then Khabib's people, including some people on his team that are fighters, that Dana White alleges will never fight again in the UFC. Or so he says.
Dana White?
Dana White, what did I say?
Daniel.
Oh. I always thought I said Donna White, maybe. They attacked McGregor and sucker punched him from the back in the ring. And that was that. I almost feel like it might be partially set up that way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I'm not really mad at Khabib. I don't really care. I don't care about any of it. I think it's interesting though. He says that you can't talk about religion or family when you're pumping up a fight. Like it's wrong. He took it really personally when they're you know the bullshit they say to start a fight. I guess McGregor. I think McGregor is right there that he's taking animosity towards Muslims, particularly in Ireland and in England. Mm-hmm. There's so many of them there. There's so much anti-Islamic rhetoric. And I think he didn't realize that would perhaps not sit well with Khabib. Or maybe he didn't care. But Khabib attacking someone, also putting fans in the stands at risk, I think it was
that's
wrong.
Really, really bad.
And now it's up to the Nevada Gaming Commission as to what will happen. They're withholding his purse. They gave McGregor his portion of the purse. And at pay-per-view, the numbers are still undetermined, I think. But I think it takes a few days for that to come in. But yeah, I mean, he gets suspended for... It's so funny. He'll get suspended for the same amount of time it takes to set up the next fight. That's what's funny. It doesn't really mean anything. It's not like baseball where you lose starts. No, you will literally like train, and then once your suspension's over, that's when they set a scheduled fight. Just like John Jones, who's fighting in December or something. It just doesn't mean anything. It might be a few months extra prep time because of the suspension that you get, but that's about it. Yeah. So going back, it's not that interesting. I don't think it's that interesting. It's kind of over dramatized. The only thing is that McGregor lost, and he looked bad. He didn't look like he could handle Khabib on the ground. He needs to work on that, or he needs to work on stopping people from taking him to the ground. Mm-hmm. One of the two.
And stop the takedown.
Wow. So going back to the boat, the cruise liner.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. That sounds really unpleasant.
Yeah, so what happened on this thing? You know more about it than me. I just can't. Like this guy, these people, 1,300 guys.
1,300 Indian men who were aboard this Royal Caribbean Australia cruise ship.
Or party.
Yeah.
But they came from like a boat, like a Navy boat or something.
They were registered passengers.
Right, but they all came from some place that was like a naval boat or something.
They came for a conference.
Yeah, but they just did coke and strippers and partied.
Yeah, they described it as like a giant bachelor party for like 3 days straight, and that they would leave like all of the doors to their rooms open, so you would never know what you were going to see when you walked by.
Oh my god. And
that they brought burlesque dancers aboard, which I don't know, sounds pretty interesting to me, but
yeah, it sounds
it's
great.
A
not if
family cruise ship, so if you've got like your 12-year-old kid there, then
yeah, that's unfortunate. That's not cool. I don't like that.
So families felt, as though they were trapped in their rooms because I guess these men had taken over like all of the public areas of the cruise ship.
They were comped, right?
Yeah, they were refunded.
My friend was comped the other night at a Hilton in Nashville. And I said, oh, that's good. He's like, yeah, $550. I'm like, just FYI, I don't think you should be paying $550 a night for a Hilton in Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville's nice, but at $550, that's like New York. It's a little New Yorkish.
It's a lot.
You got it screwed over there. Hotels.com, my friend. Hotels.com. Yeah, it's really like, men are selfish. So is everyone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't blame them from coming off. I think they came off a naval vessel, came and partied on that ship. I don't blame them at all. Yeah, what was the other thing? I was looking at analytics for sports betting, and I was looking at Pearson correlation coefficients for the NFL, and trying to correlate an separate X and Y axis data to find a correlation between them that would be closest to a positive. In other words, that would give you the outcome or be closest to the data that would afford you the outcome that you want. For like completion percentage of a quarterback with the implied odds of the spread on a sports book. And I was reading about this stuff, and I did some more work on it about analytic regression logarithms to try to find this is like heavy stuff, and it just takes time to kind of understand the terminology, but then you realize it's kind of straightforward. But the input data is the stuff that you can possibly look at, like the fourth quarter points scored for the last 10 years. Like you can add stuff like the amount of current players that have injury histories involving ACL tears. Like you can add all this data to the equations for determining who will win a particular game heads up in the NFL. And I came across this guy named Bill Benter, who essentially became incredibly successful. First, semi-successful as a blackjack card counter using the plus and minus system. And then took his prowess of developing equations and data sets to Hong Kong to bet on horses. And he used something called Kelly criterion, expectation of wager, and probability limits, which is basically just probability, to determine essentially what horse would win a race on any given day out of lots of horses, however many, like 12, whatever, how many gates there are. And he's been incredibly successful, and he's made over $1 billion. His name is Bill Benter.
It's incredible.
It's incredible because if you look at the things that you can bet on and make money, the expected win rate for an NFL with a 17-week season, 32 NFL teams, 16 games a weekend, it's or rather 15 or 14 games a weekend. It's about anywhere between 51 and 60%. That's if you're unbelievably good. So the problem is if you only make and win 51% of your matches, and you're playing some money lines where you're paying $110, but you only get to win $100, you have to be over 50% to make money, because you're going to lose some games and pay money to house to break even. Mm-hmm. You cannot it's so difficult. It's incredibly difficult. You also have to bet more on certain matches, the amount you bet, that you weight towards each bet. It's incredible. It's just like, so you have to bet more money on your best games. And even if those mess up, it screws you over. So when you look at someone like Billy Walters, who I recently wrote a letter to in federal prison for insider trading, famous gambler, makes money, tons of money on sports bets. He's laying down hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. Because, again, he's only going to make on the NFL and college football 55 to 60%. That at best, that will be his win rate. But he's laying down tens of millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So when he hits big. And he's never had a losing year. That's incredible. But it doesn't really seem very lucrative if you're only betting a few $100s a game. It seems like a waste of your time. because you're gonna have weekends where you're down $1,000, and a good weekend you make $300. Kind of useless. Kind of. For the headache, also for betting against your favorite team, because you know that statistically it's not in your best interest. So you have to lose, you have to ruin that day for you, betting against your favorite team because you know that the money's on it. And then if you get the statistical principles in your favor that say this team that's playing your favorite team is going to win, and it's wrong, God, that must make you don't get anything. You don't get the satisfaction of money. Your favorite team lost. It sucks. It's not fun.
No, that would really suck.
I hope he writes me back. Be nice. I asked him to buy the Washington Redskins from Daniel Snyder. I don't know. All right. You done?
Yeah.
All right. I'm a little sick today. Guys, thank you very much for listening, certainly for the abridged podcast. And I will talk to you, babies. I say babies like Chris Daly. I will talk to you next week. All right. Bye.